Anime has no shortage of prominent voice actresses, many of them with some visibility in the West. There's Megumi Hayashibara, the queen of the 90s, with her roles as female Ranma, Rei Ayanami, Faye Valentine, and Pokemon's Jessie, among many others, and boasting a career that has extended into the present, still providing a few stellar performances, like Miyokichi in Rakugo Shinju last year. Rie Kugamiya became the defining tsundere voice during the mid-2000s, playing Louise, Shana, and Taiga. Current superstar Aoi Yuki, who broke out with her role as Madoka at only age 19, is performing characters like Tsuyu currently, and seems to have a good deal of industry power. In an interview about Nier Automata, Yoko Taro said that the character Pascal has a female voice, specifically because the game designer Takahisa Taura said, "I will not work with you if you do not use the voice actress Aoi Yuki." And this new season of Kino's journey is also apparently thanks to her performance as Kino in a picture drama being so popular. And of course, there is the ever-prolific Kana Hanazawa, who had 10 or more, sometimes 20 roles every year from 2009 to 2016, and is such a complete, incredibly skilled performer that she dominates favorites lists. However, there is one burgeoning voice actress quickly rising in prominence that, in my eyes, stands atop the shoulders of these and all others in her field at this time: Tomoyo Kurosawa. Perhaps you've seen those Kumiko and now Phos noise compilations floating around that have a bit of a cult following of sorts. Well, you can attribute these wonderfully endearing vocalizations to Tomoyo Kurosawa. At just age 21 and with only 5 years since her TV anime debut, Tomoyo, often affectionately shortened Tomoyo, has literally had more roles for main characters, 9, than supporting roles, 7. She began studying acting at age 3, and at age 4 was already appearing in TV dramas, commercials, and stage performances. In other words, she's been fucking bred for this. And with that high frequency of main character roles, which includes both her first anime role period in the 2010 film Welcome to the Space Show, and that TV anime debut of hers, Aikatsu, Moyo seems to be highly valued and recognized for the immense talent that she is by those working in the industry. One role, Tsukui Saki of Poppin' Q, really exemplifies this perception of her excellently, since the film seems to sort of pedestalize her voice. In spite of being a main character and a part of the 5-girl team, her first line of dialogue is 37 minutes in, with that being the only line of hers until over half an hour further into the film. And in the trailers leading up to the anime, when the cast reveal trailer dropped as they generally do, she is the one character that simply sits there in silence instead of showing off her voice actress verbally. After only those 2 sparing, deadpan-delivered lines throughout the movie leading up to this moment, it is her character who gives the impassioned speech at the dramatic high point that encapsulates the values and message of the film, asserting her love of dance in a manner reminiscent of similar scenes doing so for the euphonium in Hibike. And if that wasn't deifying her enough, she also sprouts angel's wings, something that is not an ability these girls have in common, that's just special to her. It's almost as if the filmmakers recognized the special power of her voice, and so worked that into the film itself on a narrative and thematic level. It's such a valuable and effective storytelling tool that they consciously structured things in order to maximize that impact her delivery will hit home with, saving it until the moment of peak pathos. Poppin' Q puts forth a remarkable show of restraint considering how much her incidental little vocalizations can elevate a character, and the anime around them in turn. But I think it does so with a strong enough idea behind that restraint, and then execution of that idea, that the restraint here was worth it. In nearly every case, though, you absolutely want to capitalize on Moyo's noises as much as you possibly can. Ez, Az, was, and of course, gez, have never been so expressive as when Moyo is performing them. And as impossible as such a thing is, I want to try my very best here to avoid underselling just how much she is able to do with them. An immense amount of gags ride on her delivery of these noises, be they drawn out over the top instances, or brief and understated. But perhaps even more impressively, dramatic moments and key points of characterization will also lean heavily upon these noises of hers. There are legitimately specific guests I remember as noteworthy character milestones, and no one else can do that. Leading up to its release, Hoseki no Kuni was talked about by its staff as revolving around Phos and hinging upon her personal journey. So with that being so integral, they of course brought Moyo in to voice them. And Phos demonstrates how much she adds to a character, how much she can build it up through her acting alone in a way that simply cannot be replicated by writing or animation. Improving in those regards can certainly add depth and a sense of life to a character, but not in the same specific way that Moyo can. Hoseki no Kuni is driven by just how powerful Phos's characterization is. Transitions into a new mentality for them can hit you like a blow to the gut with a bat made out of uranium. Because holy fuck, Phos just got somebody killed, and that has completely changed everything. There is simply no character with as active and infectious a sensation of life as one voiced by Moyo, and to see such a character lose that life is devastating. Straying far from its initial light and wondrous atmosphere, made endlessly entertaining through a constant stream of adorable Phos moments, with a bit of dark world building there as an undertone, Hoseki no Kuni eventually made its way to what is honestly a brutally frank characterization of the allure self-harm could hold for someone, deeply pathological self-worth issues, and even touches upon dysmorphia and dissociation. And, as things keep coming back to here, Moyo elevates that contrast so brilliantly. The difference between a goofy Phos expression before and after this big character shift is incredibly subtle, and yet incredibly important. Phos is still the same person, especially considering that being a gem, they have already been alive for hundreds of years. The basic manner in which they vocalize emotions won't go away, but those expressions will now have a tinge of weariness to them, a lack of that pure naive joy they possessed only an episode or two prior. And, of course, her most famous role is yet another instance of a series that really revolves around a character and their arc. And so, Moyo was brought in to give voice to that journey. Kumiko is a character with enough nuance on her, perhaps the most nuance out there even, to demonstrate the entire range of human expression as being something that's part of Moyo's skill set. She tends to do a lot of airheaded characters, but specifically those airheads that also have many more layers to them, that need to be able to build up a powerful emotional connection and acquire a sense of multifaceted depth as they develop. And because her specialty is packing an immense amount of meaning into every verbal gesture, Moyo is perfect for such tasks. Kumiko's relationship with Reyna at the start of Hibike Euphonium is fleshed out and given so much character purely on the back of all of Kumiko's noises and circumstances surrounding it. From those expressing nervous apprehension at moments when she imagines encountering Reyna, to her flustered expressions when she actually does. All of it tells us so much about who Kumiko is as a person, the nature of the relationship between the two of them, and provides a springboard for Reyna to characterize herself in turn, having such a nuanced personality to respond to. Moving past these largely goofy expressions as characterization that occupy most of the early series though, Kumiko seamlessly moves into dramatic emotional moments that are voiced to equal perfection. But one character that really hones in on those emotions beyond goofy airheadedness is Erika Suzuki from Sakura Quest. In my video on the series, I praised her big outburst for being the well-justified, very dramatic character moment in a series full of more mature, understated ones, and her voice acting is a noteworthy component of that. She required both a delivery that could believably sell the life-defining importance these issues hold for her at this point, while also being laced with that immature childishness that conveys the naivete that this worldview of hers is based in. The same silly quality that makes Moyo so well suited to airheaded characters made her extremely proficient at making Erika's self-seriousness goofy in exactly the same manner that children usually are when having these moments. It brings back memories of my younger brother by 11 years, at age 8, hilariously, but also in his mind entirely reasonably, laying out the irrefutable case for why he could totally just walk to school himself, because he didn't like the typically 5-minute wait for the school bus, in spite of the fact, of course, that it easily would have taken him thrice as long to get there on foot, and that it'd be if he didn't just get run over by a car on the way. Artist, auteur, genius. All three of these are words I'd comfortably use to describe Tomoyo Kurosawa. Voice acting is an art, a performance art, an art that no one within anime can compete with Moyo at in my eyes. The skill sets of the roles they played were a bit different, so this isn't a perfect one-to-one comparison, but I think you'd have to bring up someone like a Robin Williams if you wanted to get someone that could match Moyo in creating a sense of life through voice acting.
You need more power, Jim!
Don't be afraid. You had it all along.
I never did it. I am not at fault.
Beyond the distinctiveness many voice actors will have simply because their voices are recognizable, Moyo has a style of voice acting, more specific and individual than any others. Her noises are easy to simply write off as a gimmick, but as I've laid out here, they are used to such astounding effect, utilized for such a range of emotional applications, that they must be recognized as being much more than just that. And, with all this in mind, I feel genius is a fitting label for the degree of mastery, at age 21 currently mind you, that Tomoyo Kurosawa possesses over her craft. Trained in this field since the age of 3, molded throughout her childhood of professional work in it into the person she now is today, I'm certain that she has easily put in her 10,000 hours and then some, and it shows.
そして、次の曲が始まるのです。
Hey! I actually have another video that just released, my coverage of one of the Animator Expo shorts over at the AniTuber Expo. So follow the link in the pinned comment and go check that out. And another heads up, there's still 20 of you guys who haven't updated your pledges with Patreon, so you're locked out of rewards you should be receiving. Needless to say, this year has been sort of insane. I went from a channel of about 1,000 subs to one past 55,000. I went from making maybe $30 a month on YouTube to making it a stable career, and I went from a sad boy to a pretty cute girl. And I really do have all of you to thank for all of that, in one way or another. A massive thank you goes out to Psyker, Carkeys, MathWiz97, Jonathan Conley, Skylar Morrow, Tyler Monk, Sakamoto Mio, Teenshow37, Josh Grant, Lord Liquid Bacon III, Kim Darling, Joaquim Alfelt, Darian De Satel, Azir Zero, and all the rest of you folks. And I wish each and every one of you the happiest possible new year and beyond.